Hey guys, how are you? That's better. Now it's working. How is everybody? Is everybody okay? All right. So it is 6:42 a.m. on Monday, 24th of March, 2025. Okay. People always say, "Can you say the time and date so if anyone steals your video, we know?" There you go. All right. So, how are you? How is everybody? No, I don't have any gossip. Not really. Everything's really quiet. You won't get much gossip from me until the beds are actually announced. Because they're ready. They've been ready for ages. We're just waiting for the redemption appointment notifications to kick off, and then it's go time. So, yep, pretty much. Now, I have the biggest question uh, that anyone can ask you today. Do you have any gossip for me? Do you have any gossip? So, yeah, because I don't. I don't. It's time. Yes, this time I believe it is time. Yeah, all the indications are there. Um, Documents are being signed. You know, to release 4B has been signed. Uh, we're just waiting for them to send it. Emails that will be going to the Intel providers and to like the dinar recaps and certain people, certain pages. They're already in the computer, um, waiting for them to press that button to send the notifications out to those Intel providers. Everything's set. Everything is set. I think they're just doing a few last minute checks. And then we're good to go. So, yeah, now it's just a waiting game. So, yeah, how are you and your mum? Yeah, we're good. We're good. I'm looking. I'm looking at property tomorrow, actually, Tuesday, because today's Monday for me, being in the land down under. So looking at property tomorrow, you got to be prepared if the RV doesn't happen anytime soon. I can't stay in this motel forever. It's been 3.5 years already. So yeah, I'm living life just as though the RV is not happening. And when that RV notification actually comes, ready. We're ready. Has Zora arrived? No, and I'm really, excuse my language, I'm really pissed off. The transport company won't communicate. They said she'll be picked up Sunday or Monday. They haven't told me. There's been no communication. Even the place, the stud where she's at, is really pissed off. And it's a very reputable transport company. I will not be giving them even a 1-star rating. It's just nothing. It's like complete nothing. You know, it's just, So she should be arriving. I'm going to blast them today. She should be arriving tomorrow or Wednesday. I'm hoping Wednesday because then I can actually go look at this house, this property tomorrow. She should be arriving on tomorrow or Wednesday if they've actually picked her up. So she'll be on the truck for two to 3 days, coming from another state, depending how many other horses they have to drop off. So yeah, if they picked her up yesterday, maybe she'll come this afternoon, but most likely tomorrow. If they pick her up today, she may come tomorrow afternoon, late afternoon, or Wednesday morning. I'm hoping this afternoon or Wednesday morning. But if the notifications come, it doesn't matter. She can come anytime. So, yeah. Let me see. I want to visit Australia. If you like hot, humid conditions, come now. If you don't like the hot, come in about 3 months. It's so humid. Maybe it's just me, but it's so bloody hot here in Sydney. My mum says I'm not hot. My brother says, no, it's all right. But I break out in sweat. Maybe I'm menopausal or something. No, I don't think so. I think my body temperature is rising internally, even though it doesn't say it on the little thermometer. I feel my body at the cellular level changing. And even if there's a slight bit of sun or a slight bit of warmth, I just break out in sweat. Like I get really, really hot when it's actually not. And it's hideous. I can't wait for winter. I would love to be in about 5 or 6 degrees Celsius right now. And it's only 19 degrees and I'm hot. I'm really hot. It's just stupid. It's stupid. Now, I am meant to be doing my workout right now. And I started my workout, but then something very interesting happened. All right, let me give you the story. I'm not going to give you all the details because some of it's private and not exactly shareable on a public platform. I'll give you the basic details. This morning I woke up about 3:30, which is a little late for me. Usually it's about 2:30, 3 o'clock. So 3:30 is sleeping. And mind you, it's 10 to 7 now. Okay, in the morning. So woke up about 3:30, just felt something was not all there. It was not quite right. Things happening. It's like, is this a good thing? I don't know, but something's just off. Oh, pardon me. I had a drink of juice before I started. And I thought nothing of it. So I get those feelings all the time. I'm tuned into the multiverse. There's always something off. There's always something happening. And I got changed, went and started my workout. I got halfway through the first set, and I do 4 sets. And someone came to me telepathically. I'm like, hello? Hello? What do you want? Who are you? What do you want? And they basically, before I started my workout, while I was sitting in bed, I was getting these flashbacks and feeling and just knowing that I'd been working on a conscious level with the CIA during my time with the Secret Space Program. And the Secret Space Program did work with the CIA a lot and still do. It's just their operations have changed somewhat. And it's like, okay. Not to mention the flashbacks I had last week of actually being drowned and suffocated, as in MK Ultra, which I never thought I had actually experienced. Which, yes, I was laying on my back, doing sit-ups, and I had a cloth wiping the sweat off my face, and as it went, the cloth touched my nose and my mouth. I panicked. and I had a flashback of actually being strangled with a bag over my head or something over my head, like literally being strangled and suffocated. And then I saw myself being held underwater, someone in a boat or on a jetty pushing my head under the water. And I'm like, no wonder I'm scared of water. No wonder I feel like I can't breathe. But, okay then. But anyway, see, I get so sidetracked. I don't even know what I was talking about. Um, yeah, this guy came to me, and so I was having these flashbacks of working with the CIA, of doing like astral traveling, doing missions in the astral world, and projecting my consciousness and my physical body, and changing it to look differently, going into different situations, not only on Earth but other planets as well. And then when I started my workout, this guy came to me telepathically and he said, okay, now you realize you've been working with the CIA. Yeah, I know that now. And he said, we would like you to continue, blah, 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 but in a different way. So it's under white hats now and, you know, all of this, and we want you to be a conscious again. Okay, a conscious. Apparently that's what they call their psychics and whatever in the Black Project and stuff like that. And I said, blah, 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 blah. I can't fill in the rest of the details of this particular conversation because I'm pretty sure I'd get a really big slap across the, the hand or a bullet to my brain or whatever. And I said, if you sign up a contract, I will have a look at it. But my mum needs to be healed first. Okay. My mum needs to be healed before I consider anything, even consider looking at it. Okay. And then they disappeared. And then seconds after they left, I started my exercises again. You know, a car that was just sitting in the dark, their headlights came on. And literally 5 meters away from me, high beam blaring at me. That car was not there before. And it was literally 5 meters away. I would have heard the engine. I would have heard, the car just appeared and headlights with high beam straight at me. And the gates are locked. You can't get into that area unless you open the gates, and those gates don't open till about 9 o'clock, 8:30. Right. Okay. That caught my attention in a very big way. Then, about 10 seconds later, I hear footsteps behind me because I'm facing now the next property next door. Looking at the headlights. Now there's footsteps behind me, and I don't live in a very safe area. Let's just say that. When the sun goes down, the crazies come out. And I turned around and there's no one there. Literally nobody there. And I went, oh, okay, now I'm a little creeped out. And this motel does have spirit. They do have ghosts. Okay, and I thought, okay, not the first time I've heard footsteps behind me and no one's there. Happens all the time. But after the headlights, the physical car, this is not a spiritual thing, this is a car beaming their headlights into me. Now there's footsteps of unseen feet behind me. Okay. I ignored it, went back to my exercises. A few seconds later, I went, and what do you know? There's 2 men in black standing there who were not human. I'm like, yeah, oh no, here we go. Here we go. I've seen Men in Black multiple times, usually after a serious ET encounter or a very serious Black Project encounter. Like, oh crap, here we go. And as I moved, I'm like, I'm not putting up with this shit. I'm going back to the room. I'm running away. I asked them what they wanted and they said nothing. And I kept doing my exercises and then they just kept standing there. The headlights kept beaming at me and I just went, you know what? Uh-uh. No, 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 no. That's it. I'm packing up and I'm running back to my back to my room, back to safety. Yeah, I know I've got to face that fear, but I'm out there alone at 5 o'clock in the morning in a not safe area. I've got headlights beaming at me. I've got two men in black standing right there, and I'm like, sorry, F this shit, I'm out of here. So I packed up my stuff and I came back. And they followed me all the way to the door. And I get to the door and one man in black is standing there, 6'8" tall, not human, with the hat, the long black overcoat, the white shirt, the black tie, the black sunglasses. I looked at him, I stopped, I looked at him, put my head down, and I just opened the door and walked in. Needless to say, I'm creeped out. So there's my experience for the day. I don't have them very often, but when I do, they are very creepy. Very creepy. Oh dear. So there's my gossip for the day. Anyway, dear oh dear. It's yeah, yeah, very interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, a gun and pepper spray would not have touched. Ah, go away, mosquito. Would not have touched these guys. These guys were ETs. The Pleiadians. Okay, the Men in Black are a combination of Pleiadian, Venusian, and human. Depending on who you get a visit from or what experience you have will depend on what MIB, what race of MIB you will actually encounter. Okay, if you see like a spacecraft, like a secret space program spacecraft, um, you will get a visit, potentially get a visit from the human Men in Black, which usually American. 99% of spacecraft you see are actually the American secret space program. Um, yeah, if you see a real ET, have a real ET experience, then you'll probably get a visit from an actual ET Men in Black. So again, it just depends. So yeah, I never got to know what the Men in Black wanted. They're usually there as observers for me. They're usually there as observers. I remember one time my mum and brother went to the Speedway. I don't like the Speedway. I'll go if my brother doesn't want to because my mum loves it. But I sit there and my eyes go round and around and around. It's the most boring thing alive to me. But my mum loves it, so I'll go with mum if my brother doesn't want to. And my brother went with mum, and I was home alone, and I was in the shower, and I heard, no wait, the worst thing that you can. Holy shit! There's someone in the house, and I'm in the shower, and I watch horror movies. My mind went straight to an intruder, straight to murderer, straight to kidnapper, rapist, all that kind of stuff, as your mind does when you love horror movies and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, and I looked around, and sure enough, there's this Man in Black guy sitting on the toilet seat in the bathroom, and I'm like, excuse me, I'm in the shower. What? Like what? And I had to walk past him to get a towel, so I'm standing like, he's like, I've seen it all. Like, far out. Like, what the hell? And he said, I want to introduce myself. And I said, funny time to introduce yourself. really? You couldn't wait till I actually got a towel? And he goes, oh, here you go. And he actually handed me the towel. I thought I could see him in my mind. Apparently not. Apparently he was actually there, because sometimes spirit to me seems like an actual physical person. Sometimes I can't tell the difference if they're a real person or spirit. Um, and this time he wasn't just there spiritually, he was actually there physically, and he handed me the towel. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to repeat the words that come out of my mouth. And he said, don't worry. We're just making contact. We're letting you know that everything's okay. And I'm like, I'm in the shower. You could So don't worry, we've seen it all. It's only a physical vessel. It's nothing to hide. We all have one. Yeah, but this is mine. It's like, oh, forget about it. That's when I lost my body is mine, because they don't care. They really don't care. And he wouldn't give me his name. Um, of course, they won't give you a name most of the time. And he just said, yeah, we're just making contact. No problem. I said, okay, hello. Now can you get out? And then he disappeared, literally vanished, started to vanish, like dematerialize. And I turned the shower off real quick, got dressed, and then I walked out in the hall, and there's this Draco standing in my brother's room down the hallway. Like, it would have been about 7'2", something like that, just standing there looking at me. And I'm like, yeah, I want to be at the Speedway right now. It's just some of my experiences you would not believe. You really wouldn't. You'd think I'm making this shit up. But no. So this morning's encounter was, yeah, that's why I'm doing this video and not still sweating my backside off, because I'd still be over there sweating my backside off. But, yep, no, no, not today, not today. Anyway, here I am. Otherwise, you would not be seeing me right now. So April 2nd is going to be a good day. Yes, April 2nd will be a good day. Freedom Day or Prosperity Day, I don't know, some kind of day in America. But what I have found, and I'm not being a downer, okay, what I have found is that the dates that something actually does happen, okay, when, like, Trump has said something about the 2nd of April, I don't really follow it. All I want is that notification. I take no notice of any other thing except, as you're reading for the notifications, you see things of, I know April 2nd is some kind of day that Trump has said. If he does do what he says on that day, what I find is that nothing changes immediately. And if it does change immediately, it doesn't affect us immediately. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, so 4B notifications, Trump has signed off on, everything's, emails are in the computer ready to be sent out, everything. That's fantastic news. It's unbelievable. Yet we're still here. you know? It's always good news, good news, good news, but it doesn't filter down to actually make any kind of changes for us. And it's really frustrating. That's what frustrates me. It's like, yeah, I see it happening, I know it's happening, but nothing for the population as a whole has actually changed yet. That's the frustrating part. So, anyway, we will see what happens. We will see what happens. Can a medbed heal a broken heart? If the heart has a tumour, If the heart has a leak, if the heart is malfunctioning, yes. You don't have a broken heart if it's emotions. Your heart is not broken. What it is you're not in control of your emotional side. So a medbed won't heal a broken heart. Okay, that's up to you and the counsellors to work through. Okay. Will you sing a duet at Wolfie's opera? You don't want to hear me sing. It was a very funny story. Yesterday, I was driving back from my horses, and I always have the windows down. I don't like air conditioning. Always have the windows down. And I had my music turned up, alone in the car. I was singing my heart away. There was no one, hardly anyone else on the road. Next thing, the car drove up beside me, quite fast actually, and I heard, "Oi, hey!" And I look over, and there's my cousin. And then I went and saw her yesterday, and she said, "I was beeping you, I was flashing my headlights at you, I was screaming at you." I'm like, "I'm singing." I was in my zone. Oh God, yeah. I notice nothing when I'm singing, but it's not a voice you want to hear. Okay. I think Wolfie has a much better voice than I do, and if I was to do a duet with him or sing any kind of thing, people would actually turn me off very quickly, including myself. That ain't gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Will you be doing another reading chat soon? That I don't know. I don't know. Because I am hearing that in the next couple of days, 4B notifications will be released to us. I want to take the time to focus on myself and make sure that my vibration is as high as possible. I want to focus on my family. Um, I've spent so much time focusing on everybody else that I think it's time everybody now started focusing on themselves, especially if you're involved in the RV. Okay, because when you're focused on others, you're giving your energy out. Yes, you are getting energy back, which can be healing and all that, but you have the rest of your life to help others. Okay, right now, for the redemption appointment at least, it is time you focus on yourself 100%, so that you have everything within you that you can possibly have. Go out, do something you enjoy. For me, it's playing with the horses. Um, Go and have fun. Okay, spend time with your family. Spend as less time possible on the internet. Only check a couple of times a day for that notification. Doing all these kinds of things will raise your frequency so much that when you go into that redemption appointment, you'll have a clear head, you'll have access to higher consciousness, you'll be able to ground your energies. Okay, while you're giving out to everybody, yes, you're getting it back, but you're not focused on you. You need to be in tune with you. Okay, if you want the maximum amount of humanitarian funds and that. If you just want to do your currency exchange, then whatever. All right. But really important at this time to really focus on yourself and what you want. Be looking for property, going through your projects, practicing presenting your projects to the redemption sense, redemption staff. Um, all that kind of stuff. You know, if you're going to age regress or you want age regression or you want to make major changes, look for motels in other counties or suburbs or something like that where nobody will know you. Talk to your family about the process that you're about to go through and do all of that kind of stuff. All right, so go for it. Okay. Will the medbeds be painful, like recovering from a procedure? No. Okay, now during the medbed process, okay, during the actual treatment, you might feel a vibration. You probably will feel some kind of light vibration. That's it. Those having limbs regrown or nerves regrown, like let's just say someone's paralyzed from the neck down, okay? During that process, okay, for those kinds of procedures, you'll be very sleepy, almost heavily sedated without the sedation, but very sleepy, okay? You might feel almost like sharp little phantom pains of that limb actually regrowing, okay? And this is the nerves activating, okay? Now, being so sleepy, and you need to be sleepy for this kind of procedure, you're not going to even notice it, okay? You might just feel, oh, maybe got a few pins and needles. Hang on, my limb isn't even there. That's the nerves of the limb actually reactivating, growing, okay, being created again. But everybody that doesn't regrow a limb will just feel a light vibration. Once the procedure's finished, you are finished. Okay, there is no pain, there's no aching, there's nothing. Once the procedure finishes, that's it. Okay, you don't have anything residual effect except a very high vibration and maybe a bit of lightheadedness. Okay, you might feel lightheaded. Just a general healing. Like for me, I'm healthy. I've got quite a few bones that need repairing, but otherwise I'm pretty healthy. I got no problem driving home and all of that. I probably will be a little lightheaded because the energy difference, but absolutely fine. For someone who is very sick or quite sick or elderly, and there's a major difference, a major healing, I wouldn't suggest driving for 24 to 48 hours. Drink plenty of fluids. Okay, plenty of fluids. A little bit of chocolate as well, because that does help with the energy, to ground the energies, believe it or not. Yeah, so I wouldn't drive for 24 to 48 hours, and I wouldn't sign anything like documentation for 24 to 48 hours, just until you come off that high, okay, because you want to be stable when you're signing legal contracts. Okay, so yeah, okay, but no pain, no aching, nothing, just a very high, okay. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I told a friend of mine that as long as she has Zim, she can take her 85-year-old mum for a medbed treatment. Okay, that is incorrect. Okay, just because you have Zim, it doesn't mean that you're going to be invited to use the medbed before anyone else. Okay, it is people who receive humanitarian funds, whether you are doing projects or donating to projects, they're the ones that will be invited to use the beds first. Okay, first. I'm still waiting for confirmation. I my team hasn't contacted me for days, almost 2 weeks. They are so busy. I've asked and asked, like, hello, where are you? There's no one. Um, maybe I should have asked this morning, but anyway, as far as I'll just go by the last bit of intel I received because I haven't received anything different. As far as who you can take with you for those people that receive humanitarian funds, I believe it is your um, close family members, okay, or dependents. I believe it's your dependents first, meaning those you look after due to medical issues, especially the aged and elderly, and anyone in between that actually you need to take care of. So if they can manage completely on their own, I don't believe that they're able for an early medbed treatment. But then again, quite possibly because, and this is where common sense comes into it, if you receive humanitarian funds and you're going on a holiday, let's say to Hawaii, from Australia to Hawaii, you're not going to get your family to come back in another 2 weeks to have their procedure. So most likely, people who receive humanitarian funds will be able to have their whole family treated within the first week. Okay, so those who did not receive humanitarian funds, but go to a redemption appointment and exchanges, they have to wait for the public. Okay, the announcement of the public for the beds. I believe it's only the those who receive humanitarian funds. Okay, now if you're part of a group, okay, the group leader, and you receive humanitarian funds from the group leader will give you the details to book your medbed appointment. Okay, that is the group leader's responsibility. They don't have those details yet because those details will only be released when 4B notifications will be released. Okay, so please don't message me saying, I'm in a group, my leader knows nothing, doesn't have any notice. No, they're not going to, not until 4B notifications are released. Okay, so yeah, I'm looking for properties tomorrow too in New Zealand. Nice. Is your mum excited? Uh, she is, but she is extremely frustrated because all the intel, it's coming, it's today, it's tomorrow, it's this, it's that, and still nothing. So when I give her intel, she's like, whatever. I'm excited for it. One day it may happen, but I'm not going to pin my hopes on it. So, same with my brother. Same with me, actually. I'm really over all the intel of it's happening, and still nothing. What can you do? Any news from Smoo? Nope, nothing. He is busy as he's so busy. And every time I hear from one of the guys say, what are you doing? Oh, stuff. It's like, really interesting. What kind of stuff? Just stuff you wouldn't be interested in. Yeah, I bet I would. Any hints? No, just stuff. Okay, just stuff. But that stuff is working with the governments and the white hats to get all this going. That's what that stuff is. So, yeah. May I ask you, what work, job, trade is your brother Daryl in? I want to say life. He's learning life at the moment. Skills in everything. Literally. Skills in everything. Uh, where are we? Where are we? Come to Florida. You will love it here. No. No, Florida's hot. It's hot and humid. It has hurricanes and alligators. What could I possibly like about Florida? No, it looks pretty. But no, thank you. Ah, mosquito. Go away. Go away. 1 degree Celsius in eastern Ontario, Canada. Oh, sit in front of the fireplace. Oh, reading a book on the lounge. Actually, it's cooler now than it was when I started this live stream. I'm very grateful for that. It was very, very humid before. I think everybody should be looking for their houses, cars, and places they want to do humanitarian projects at. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. It's a beautiful time to be alive. Exactly. My advice as well. 100%. Have you ever been to the USA? Move here. I just found a gorgeous 70-acre historical property for sale. No, I've never been to America. I've never been. I went to Fiji when I was 6 months old. That's the extent of my international travel outside of Australia. I want to go to France. It just when I look at a map, I close my eyes. Archangel Sandalphon told me to do this, and I think Osiris said it as well. He said, "Close your eyes." Close my eyes. He said, "Open your maps and then close your eyes." And I did. And they said, "Now put your finger over the map. Go around 3 times in a clockwise direction and 3 times in an anti-clockwise direction. That will confuse your mind and get you in a vibrational state." I said, "Okay." So I did that, and he said, "Now allow your finger to be guided by your spirit as to where you go." Okay. Where did I land? Northeastern France. Northeastern France. And it's funny because I don't want to go south of France. I don't want to go west of France. I want to go northeast of Paris, in that top, like, right-hand corner. But you go from Paris straight up and Paris straight east. It's that area where I want to go. And it happens every time I try it. And nowhere else on the map. Nowhere except there. I think I've done that 7 or 8 times, and every time I end up in the northeastern quarter of France. Okay then. Okay. Alrighty then. It's ascension symptoms. For some like myself, I'm constantly burning up. Our bodies are upgrading. Yes, and it comes in waves. I have about 15 to 16 waves of heat during the day, every day, and at night in a 24-hour period. I'll be nice and cool, and then all of a sudden I'll feel my body temperature rising, and I'll get so hot I'll just break out in a sweat. About 15 times a day. And it's not menopause. It's not perimenopause or premenopause or whatever. It's essential. It's your body changing. I can feel it at the cellular level. Feel my body changing. It's kind of cool. A little weird, but kind of cool. Do you know if humanitarian funds will be available for people with good hearts and no bonds, rather than just bonds or dinar? I'm asking because a lot of people that hoard wealth aren't. I do believe that after the redemption appointments have finished, have concluded, that the Alliance will be not searching, not looking, tuning into heart frequencies of this planet. And then they'll contact those with those heart frequencies and offer them to do projects. But that won't happen until after the redemption appointments have finished. So, yeah, all is not lost. How should we design horse barns for the horses' best lives? It depends on what you want, actually, and what kind of land you have, what kind of temperature, what kind of environment you're building in. For me, I'm going to be building a whole bunch of stables that'll be 5 by 5 meters, and they'll have walkout yards of about 10 meters long and 5 meters wide, and that'll be undercover. So even in the cold, rainy, horrible days, they can still, do a little bit of walking and get some outside without getting the full force of the weather. And then they can come back into their stable, to get out of the wind and that if they want. that's what I'm going to be building. But, you know, it just depends on your location and all of that kind of stuff. So, yeah. But I'm going to be having a walking machine for the competition horses. I'm having 2 indoor arenas plus about 6 or 7 outdoor arenas. I'm going to have a gallop track, an undercover gallop track. I'm going to have about 50 yards, all about an acre each. Yeah, I'm going to have a lot of stuff, all with post and rail fencing. With it's like, I think it's called stallion rail that we have, where if they hit it, it actually bounces back. It's not like solid. I don't want any solid fencing, and I don't want wire fencing. I had too many wire injuries in my day to worry about that wire, no matter what kind of wire it is. I'm going to have a swimming pool where you can actually go down some stairs and see the horses swimming from under the water, sort of like an observation area underneath the water. Yeah, I have a treadmill. I'm going to have an oxygen therapy chamber. And apparently Archangel Sandalphon is going to add Kerrie-Ann, add a whole bunch of equine technology as well that they use on their planet. So, yeah, when you work with the Alliance, and you guys will be working with the Alliance, you get all the extras. So not just what we have available, but a lot of other stuff too, which is really cool. I can't imagine anyone still in the CIA is any good unless new hires under Trump. Yeah, this is the thing. There are a lot of good people in the CIA, okay? Because a lot of good people have been hired to do good things, okay? Because the CIA is just not about bad stuff. There's actually a lot of good stuff in it as well. And the black projects, people think people that work in the black projects are all dark and everything. No, they're scientists, they're lawyers, they're doctors, they're nurses, they're animal attendants, all kinds of different people work in the black projects in the CIA. So now that all these black projects, including the CIA and FBI and all that, has been taken over by the white hats, the dark programs, even though some of the programs are still there, they're now of the light programs. So like the psychics in the CIA are now being used instead of the psychics being used to target the good guys and to come up with plans and look in the future and all of that of the good guys. They're now being used to look at the bad guys and hunt the bad guys and to predict what the bad guys are going to do so that then the militaries can go and stop them. All that kind of stuff. So the programs still exist, but they're being used for the good now. Okay, because the people that have taken them over are for the good. So everything that can be used for dark can also be used for good. It's the intention behind the person. Okay, so the secret space program, the Navy section, which is was the not so nice section, has now been taken over by the white hats. So instead of them going and taking out entire civilizations so that they can have that base and that planet, it's now the white hats are using the secret space program to make alliances, to do trade deals, to work with them, rather than kill them and get rid of them so that they can take their base. So everything that can be used for good or bad can be used for good or bad. Okay, so yeah. This can explain your fear of water drowning. Yeah, it's just, yes, not very impressed, to say the least. Anyway, there'll be redemption centers in every single country. However, some of the redemption centers won't be called redemption centers. They'll just be a bank. Okay, but there might be a room in the bank that is the redemption center. Okay, so you may not be going to a center specifically set up for redemption appointments. You might just be going to a bank, okay? But one room in the bank is the redemption center, okay? So just be aware of it. I saw the movie Hypnotic today, also about the subject. Yeah, and I watched a movie this morning on YouTube about how this group of people with psychics to transfer their consciousness into the minds of people who carry out assassinations. And I'm like, why does this resonate so much? Why does this hit home so much? And then I started realizing and getting the flashbacks. Oh, hang on a second. These are not just my imagination, these are actual memories. Oh, God. I'd love to know everything that's gone on in my head. Just imagine having full access to all your memories. It's enough to send someone insane, especially if you haven't dealt with your trauma and dealt with your insecurities. Literally enough to send someone insane, which makes them easy to control and manipulate. Then you don't need to control someone's mind to get them to assassinate someone because they're already halfway there. You just need that one last trigger. And then, yeah. Yeah. Horrible story and traumatic. In this life, I went through that. People put a bag over my head 2 times to suffocate me while they were murdering my husband. So your story triggered me instantly. Yeah, yeah, it's not nice. At least I know why. And I always thought, because I love watching SAS Who Dares Wins, Australia, all of that, and they always put a bag over the recruit's head. And I always thought, yep, I could deal with that. I can manage that. Yep, it's just control the mind. And then when I was laying on my back wiping sweat off my face and the cloth went over my nose and face, I was like, oh, maybe I can't control that. Maybe I shouldn't sign up to be a recruit on that show. Yeah, no, yeah, I think I'll give it a pass. Unless I practice it a lot. Oh dear. I would have run also, don't blame you, that must have been terrifying. It wasn't terrifying, it was just creepy. You got I've just been asked to re-enter the CIA and Black Projects, and seconds later, high beam headlights, beam into my workout space, and the car wasn't there before when I got there. And then I turn around and I hear footsteps. I turn around, there's 2 men in black standing there. Just a bit creepy. Just a bit. I thought, yeah, I'm not doing creepy shit this morning. And no, 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 no. No, thank you. Yeah, I still don't know what they wanted. Hmm. They're trying to reinstate you, Agent K. Yes, they are. And until this morning, I didn't realize that I had actually done work with the CIA. I had thoughts of what if, and those thoughts now I realize existed to begin opening my awareness. Anyway, how long before we get to see ET and live amongst them, identifying them? You can do that now. You don't have to wait. Remember, this is a personal journey. I don't think anytime soon there's going to be a mass disclosure of like ET standing in front of the White House. Okay, I don't think, and oh yes, I'm an ET, I'm an ET, I'm an ET. I don't think it's gonna go like that. I think people are going to, as they rise in their consciousness and expand their awareness, they're going to realize that they're already living with ETs and they do look human, some of them, and that it's okay. I think it's going to be more of an internal disclosure than a full public disclosure. So, oh my God, I would die if I was in the shower and that happened. I think I know what words came out of your mouth the same as me. Yes, it's like I thought he was spirit, or just in my head, and when he handed me the towel, so oh no. Okay, guys, I think I'm gonna leave it there because my battery is on the fritz. Alrighty, so have a beautiful day. My energy saver is on. It went down really quick. So have a beautiful day, and let's hope those notifications come. Like now would be nice. Alrighty, so talk to you later. Bye.